Hey, we've got the most beautiful chiropractor going from the Fix Toronto, Dr. Liza Egbogah here. Good to have you back.
I'm happy to be here.
So here we are. It's pretty much summer. We kind of skipped spring, right?
Yeah, I mean spring going into summer, but regardless, this time of year, people are gardening and
Yes.
people are also spring cleaning.
Yes, and we waited and waited and waited to get into the garden because we were getting all those crazy frosty nights for so long. And then we jump in with both feet and we wind up in the chiropractor's office, right?
Exactly. And full disclosure, I myself do not garden, but I can tell you all how to prevent pain while gardening and how to prevent injury.
Good, thank you. I find my neck gets sore, my back gets sore because you're bending over so much, right?
You're bending a lot, and what people don't realize is that gardening is a physical activity, so it's almost like working out. In an hour of gardening, you actually burn 300 calories.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a workout, right?
Turning the soil and
Yeah,
getting the weeds out.
exactly. But because you don't look at it as a workout, you don't warm up beforehand, and you don't stretch afterward. So that's what we're going to teach you today.
Okay.
What should you do to prevent it? So first things first, you want to make sure that you are nice and warm. So whether that means, strolling around your garden, just walking around saying, okay, that needs a little bit of work, that needs a little bit of work, maybe even a couple of jumping jacks just so that you're nice and warm.
Okay.
After you do that, we are going to work from our head to toe to make sure everything is nice and ready for gardening. So let's start with our shoulders.
Let's start there.
So have you done a shoulder roll before?
Is it like this?
That is exactly what a shoulder roll is like. Now, when we are doing the shoulder roll to warm up, right now you're focusing on moving your shoulders. What we want to focus on is actually moving your shoulder blades, right? So we want your shoulder blades to go up. We want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Then we want to put the bottom of your shoulder blades in your back pocket. So that is a roll. When you're focusing on the shoulder blade, you end up opening up more muscles and getting more blood flow in the area.
I feel that. That's a big difference.
Yeah, so big difference. Shoulders is doing this. Shoulder blades is doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, and you want to take your time with it, so you don't want to rush through it. So now we're going down into the arms. When you're gardening, you're digging, you're doing a lot of arm stuff.
Yeah, and then the next
stuff.
day you're like, oh.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that's why we want to stretch our forearms and warm up our wrists.
Okay.
So we want to make sure we get both sides. So first side, we want to stretch this part here. So you're going to take your hands and you're going to pull them down. Do you feel a nice stretch throughout here?
Yeah.
And then you want to hang out for a bit. Let's hold this for a good 20 seconds. A nice slow 20 seconds.
That's the key, isn't it?
Exactly,
because
to hold it.
The muscle needs to sort of relax into this position.
Exactly, and you don't want to bounce it or keep jerking it. You want to make sure you hold it and let it stretch. And when you feel that, you can use a little bit more, then you can put a little bit more tension, but don't do jerky movements like this. Okay, and then we want to flip over, and now we want to stretch these parts. So now, actually take your thumb and put it under your wrist, and then take your hand and push down.
Right? Why is that important?
So we don't want to provide too much compression in the wrist, and we don't want you to hurt your wrist. So we just put that there as a safeguard to let you know we're stretching, but we're not hurting our wrists, right? So that's why we put it there. And how long do we hold it for?
20 seconds.
Exactly. 20 seconds is a great number. Okay, perfect.
Feels good. Oh, you know what? We should be doing that at our desks too, right?
This is a great one for your desk. And remember, both sides too, with all the keyboard work, with all the mousing. This is key. Because I work with my hands as a chiropractor, I probably do this 10 times a day, right?
You'd have to. You'd have to.
And it's great. Right?
Can this help with carpal tunnel syndrome? And
Absolutely, right? Because your carpal tunnel is in this area here. By stretching this way, you help open up the carpal tunnel and you stretch the muscles and the tendons that are going into the carpal tunnel.
All right.
So I can't think of anyone who shouldn't be doing this stretch, whether you garden or not. Like I said, I don't garden, I do this. Okay, next one. A little stretch here. So what you're doing is you want both of your arms to be at about 180 degrees. Perfect. And then you're pushing them together. So by pushing them together, you're activating your muscles in your arm, right? Because we don't want to just stretch, we want to warm them up for the activity that we're doing. And we're also getting a little bit of a stretch in here as well.
Oh, Okay.
So we're warming up all the muscles, right from our shoulders to our biceps to our triceps and right into the hand. And then again, we want to hold that for 20 seconds.
It's a good little
Great.
chest exercise.
Exactly. So now our arms are all nice and loose. We're ready to go in that part. So let's get to the rest of our body. We need to stretch our sides. With all the bending that you're doing, with all the time that you spend at the garden, you want to stretch the sides. Another note before we get to that though. When you are gardening, you actually don't want to spend too much time bending. Whenever possible, you actually want to be kneeling and gardening.
Much better idea.
Exactly, and if you have any knee problems and kneeling is a problem, you can always use a cushion behind so that there's not too much pressure on your knees while
So
you're
you
kneeling.
sort of wedge it in behind your knees?
Yeah, exactly, because some people, if they don't have great mobility in their knee, they can't actually kneel or get into the position because they don't have that room. So if you put a cushion in between your knees, then you'll be able to kneel, and that is better than bending.
Okay.
So we want to stretch our sides. So to do that, let's have your feet a little bit apart, give you a wider base of balance. You want to take one arm up, and then you want to stretch to the side.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good stretch, right? And this will vary. Some people might be here, some people might only be here, and some people might be all the way over. Okay? And then again, you want to stay in there, and you want to hold that for 20 seconds. And note where our arms are. We're keeping an arm here to prevent us from tipping over and to also protect our back. Okay, so after we do that,
Good.
we always want to balance and we want to do both sides. So we go to the other side. And you'll feel this
Look how far
all
over
the
you
way
get.
from
Good for
here. I do yoga. Actually, you do yoga too, right?
I do, but
Yeah.
I'm a little more stuck than you.
I might see a chiropractor more often.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm married to a chiropractor.
Well, when you're
I have to make
married
an
to a
appointment.
chiropractor, you don't get as much treatment.
It's
I can
true.
tell you, my husband asks, and I say, you know what? I've worked today. So that's not the case. Next, we want to go into the hamstrings,
Okay,
right?
we've got about 2 minutes left. Okay.
Yeah, so for the hamstrings, this is an easy one. We're just reaching over to touch our toes,
Okay.
right? So you're reaching for the ground. You should feel a nice pull through the back of your hamstrings, and you might even feel a little bit into your lower back. When you're doing this, don't completely lock your knees. So make
Okay.
sure there's a little bit of a bend just so that you don't hurt your knees. Good, and you want to hold that for 20 seconds. So that's the magic number. And then when you come back up, come back slowly and hinge at your hips.
Right.
Perfect. I'm going to hold on to you for balance, okay?
Okay.
So next one, we want to stretch the front of the leg. We just stretched the back of the leg. We are going to stretch our quad. So with this one, you are putting your heel essentially to your butt, and you're holding that for 20 seconds.
Now you got to keep your knees. I keep being told this. Your knees have to somehow be level, right?
Yeah, so you want your knees to be close to each other.
Okay.
Right, so you don't want to be here, you don't want to be here, that's a different stretch. You want to be right upside there.
Can I try that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on tight.
Oh yeah, those need a good stretch too. Okay. Good. Let's assume we've done both sides.
Well, you know what? When you think about it, we've literally gone head to toe.
Yeah.
We've done the shoulders, we've done the arms, we've done the sides, we've done the front of the legs, and we've done the back of the legs. So we are ready to garden.
Yay!
And guess what? You have to do this after you finish gardening as well.
The whole thing?
Go through the whole thing all over again.
But that's important because now you want to help your muscles cool down, right?
Exactly, and you know what? The best time to stretch is actually after a workout. That's when things are nice and warm. So when you started with the stretches, you might not have found that you went so far. After you're done gardening, you'll be like, oh my gosh, my whole palm touches the ground because I'm nice and warm.
It feels good. Let's face it. Like just do it because it feels good.
Exactly.
But if you can avoid injury, that's a bonus.
Exactly, avoid injury, and the next day you'll wake up and be like, I don't feel like I actually spent all day gardening.
Dr-Liza.com for more information and to book an appointment with her. She's good.